please. Anyone, please, food. My son hasn't eaten for 2 weeks. He's so hungry. Oh my gosh. This is for me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Look, we have food. We have food. We have food.
This is a reality faced by many families around the world. Not even enough food to feed their own child. For a more sustainable future, where families around the world have easy access to basic necessities like food, the United Nations have proposed a sustainable development goal of zero hunger by 2030. However, the path to accomplishing this goal is ridden with obstacles such as political violence, climate change, and COVID-19 pandemic. So in this video, we'll be talking about some of the key features of zero hunger goal, real-world cases that highlight the severity of the problem, and innovative solution that could bring us closer to achieving this vision.
Yemen has been grappling with a severe humanitarian crisis due to ongoing conflict. The UN's $4.3 billion appeal for aid hasn't been fully funded, leading to reduced food rations by the World Food Programme. The situation is dire, with millions of Yemenis facing starvation as the conflict intensifies. Nearly a decade of conflict has taken a devastating toll on the Yemeni people. The UN's 2024 assessment reveals that a staggering 80% of the population is struggling to survive, facing acute food insecurity and basic needs shortages. The war has also caused economic turmoil, significantly devaluing the Yemeni rial. The lack of funding for the 2024 humanitarian response plan is further exacerbating the crisis. Many humanitarian organizations have been forced to scale back or cease operations, leaving millions without essential aid like food, water, and healthcare.
Now, the situation in Gaza is heartbreaking. On April 11, famine was declared in northern Gaza as a devastating attack that killed 7 aid workers. Yet this famine roots far extend beyond the current conflict. As early as 2022, 64% of Gaza were food insecure, a crisis worsened by long-standing policies that restricted access to farmland, clean water, and fishing. Hamas governance has further strained resources, adding taxes and stockpiling food. Today, over 1.1 million people in Gaza face imminent famine. The destruction of greenhouses, irrigation, and livestock ensures that even with peace, this food crisis will persist. Gaza currently urgently needs humanitarian aid, investment in infrastructure, and a path towards sustainable food security.
The World Health Organization warns that global hunger is reaching alarming levels, with 733 million people facing starvation in 2023. This crisis is driven by factors like the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine conflict, and climate change, which disrupt food production and supply chains. The UN fears that these challenges could derail efforts to achieve zero hunger by 2030. To address this crisis, the WHO recommends investing in sustainable food systems, strengthening social protection programs, and promoting equitable access to resources. International cooperation is crucial to ensure global food security.
Somalia is grappling with an unrelenting food crisis. Over 3.4 million people face acute food insecurity, food worsened by alternating droughts and floods. While recent rains brought hope, they also brought widespread flooding, damaging livelihoods and displacing 268,000 people. The World Food Programme has acted to save lives, providing yearly warnings and relocation assistance. But funding shortfalls hinder these efforts. Without additional support, Somalia cannot build the resilience it needs to escape the cycle of hunger.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo is facing an acute hunger crisis, primarily due to escalating conflicts and large-scale displacements that have intensified since the early 2024. The violence has forced many families to leave their homes, leaving them with little to no access to food and other basic needs. The situation is especially critical for vulnerable groups like women and children, who face high risk of malnutrition and violence. Although the UN World Food Programme is offering emergency relief, they are struggling to meet the demand due to limited resources. The crisis has now reached a tipping point, with widespread suffering likely unless immediate action is taken. The crisis directly relates to the UN Sustainable Development Goals of Zero Hunger, which aims to end hunger, achieve food security, and promote sustainable agriculture by 2030. The situation in the DRC demonstrates how conflict can severely undermine food security, worsening hunger and poverty.
Four factors that contribute to the issue of world hunger includes inequality, conflict, disasters of emergencies, and poverty. When it comes to groups with the least social, economic, or political power, access to nutritious food becomes difficult. Examples include displaced people and refugees. Conflict disrupts the harvest of food, hinders the delivery of humanitarian aid, and forces citizens to flee their homes. Climate-related disasters such as earthquakes, floods, wildfires can leave communities devastated around the world. These frequent emergencies can further desolate communities that are vulnerable, such as the elderly, people in poverty, and people with disability. Without sufficient and sustainable incomes, families cannot afford access to nutritious food, clean water, or healthcare. As a result, 1 in 3 children in low or middle-income countries suffer from chronic undernutrition.
Global food insecurity remains a critical challenge, particularly in conflict-affected regions like Yemen, Gaza, Somalia, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. These regions face severe hunger crises due to factors such as armed conflicts, climate shocks, and economic instability. Addressing these challenges requires a dual approach of immediate humanitarian aid to save lives and long-term resilience strategies to ensure sustainable food security. These efforts align with the Zero Hunger Initiative, which aims to eradicate hunger, promote food security, and foster sustainable agricultural practices globally. A comprehensive solution involves addressing both immediate and long-term needs in each region. In Yemen, increased international food aid and peace-building efforts are necessary to stabilize food supply chains and rebuild agricultural systems. Gaza requires humanitarian corridors to deliver essential supplies and measures to strengthen agricultural and infrastructure capabilities for future food security. Somalia can benefit from anticipatory actions like early warning systems and investments in local agriculture to reduce vulnerability to natural disasters. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, international food aid must be paired with conflict resolution and the restoration of agricultural livelihoods to tackle both the immediate hunger crisis and its root causes. Collectively, these solutions emphasize emergency relief while building resilient food systems to withstand future challenges. In conclusion, combating global food insecurity demands urgent and collaborative efforts from the international community. By integrating short-term interventions with sustainable long-term strategies, these measures align with the Zero Hunger Initiative's goal of eradicating hunger and fostering food security worldwide. Through strategic investments in humanitarian aid, agricultural development, and resilience building, a path towards sustainable food systems can be established, ensuring that no one is left behind in the fight against hunger.
The global hunger crisis demands urgent and long-term solutions in regions like Yemen, Gaza, Somalia, and Democratic Republic of Congo. Conflict, climate shocks, and economic instability have pushed millions into food insecurity, highlighting the need for stronger, more resilient food systems. Achieving zero hunger by 2030 means addressing root causes like poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation while fostering global cooperation, sustainable agriculture, and peace building. It is a shared responsibility. Governments, organizations, and communities must act together to ensure a future where access to nutritious food is a reality for all.